Listen, she asked, Daddy, why does mama treat me differently from the other siblings? Why does mama treat me different from the other siblings? Listen, y'all, I got a good one for y'all today, so stay tuned. Hey, y'all, it's Bernita Rochele, and welcome to my spoken word and conversations, y'all. And you know, I'm about to get right up into this one. I am not cross-eyed, honey. It is the her or the glasses. Listen, I wrote this one on April 21st, 2024. Listen, I just watch stuff and it just comes. But anyway, this is called Why Does Mama Treat Me Differently? Why does she treat me differently from all of the other siblings? Let's get into it. Why does mama treat me differently? That is the question. I'm really trying to figure this out. Why does mama treat me differently from my other siblings? I mean, we grew up in the same house. So why does mama treat me so differently? She seems to give my siblings way more attention than me. She seems to care way more for my siblings than me. I'm asking, why does mama treat me so differently? Dad sighs and said, she not your mama. Honey, daddy said she is not your mama. Oh, Lord. Ooh, honey, y'all listen. That is the stuff. Now I'm about to get in my thoughts, honey. I know that's somebody's story. That is somebody's story. You know, you be wondering, like, why do they treat me differently? Why does mama treat me so differently? Because people be knowing. People know when they're being treated differently. They may not know if it happened when they were younger, you know, where the father okay, people be knowing when they are not connected with somebody. I really do believe that. Now, here are my thoughts. These are the stories that nobody ever talk about. They never talk about the dad being there. I was watching one of the court shows one day, and this kid, this was so heartbreaking. This young man, he was in this family, but it was so wild because the mother didn't know who the dad was, right? And we know that mothers go through things, okay? It'd be a whole lot of weight, but y'all, this is the kicker. Okay, so the mother and the daughter, but then it was a young man. Okay, I didn't mean to put my hands like that, but it was a young man. So it's the mother and the daughter. And so then the daughter right here, she thought that this was her brother, this guy right here. Honey, she had been calling him brother for all this time. Guess what? The mother was the auntie. Honey, the mother was the young man's auntie, but his mother had left. Y'all, this was like one of the most heart-wrenching stories that I had ever seen on a court show. It was on the Judge Lauren, and it was so wild. You know, you always hear about, like I was saying, you always hear about the mother's story and how they do the protecting of, you know, when that kid was maybe handed off by a family member, but you never hear the side where the dad has remarried. But that mother, she still treats the child like hers, but there's always something missing from that kid, because I'm telling you, people be knowing. People be knowing when that ain't they daddy or they mama. They be knowing that. But that was one of the most heart-wrenching stories that I have ever heard. And they all was in there crying, because the kid, not only did the daughter not know who her daddy was. We knew that the son, her nephew, which she had called son all this time, but she raised him to a young man. He was like in his 20s or so. But when you hear those stories, they are so heartfelt, because people are really trying to protect that young person, and sometimes they're being a little bit selfish, I believe, too, at the same time, because instead of letting them know when they're younger, they let them know when that's older. So even if they had enough time to find the person, it's still kind of disheartening at the same time that you held that type of information, y'all. But listen, people know when they are missing another part. They know when they missing another part. They know, some may not even tell. Some people ain't gonna even tell people that that was not your daddy. That was not your mama. They gonna let them take it to the, 6 feet under, 8 feet under, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They gonna let them take it. And that's wild to me. But I really wanted to highlight, look at that stuff falling. I really wanted to highlight the dad. Nobody ever talks about the dad being in those situations, y'all. But anyway, y'all, that's it. That's all for me today, y'all. Thank you to my new ones, and thank you to my day ones. Y'all been riding with a girl, and I am so grateful. And don't ever think I am not grateful. Hunty. Listen, well, that's it. That's all for me today, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Hey, y'all, it's Bernita Rochele, and welcome to my spoken word and conversations every